Good morning. Welcome to Hiking with Kathleen. I'm Kathleen, and today we're bringing you to Awenda Provincial Park. So Shannon and I are getting ready to go for a bike ride to be able to explore the park a little bit more. So this is the first day. We arrived here from Lake Superior Provincial Park yesterday. Oh my goodness, that was an all-day drive. We left at 8 in the morning and we got set up around 7 p.m. here at Awenda. And we have a captive inside our trailer. Miley's not coming on the bike ride with us. Opening scene, I showed you the solar setup. This is a non-electrical site. We'll see how it goes. We've got quite the canopy of trees around us, so I don't know how well we'll be able to charge up our batteries. But stay tuned. I hope you join us on this hike today. So we're on the Bluff Trail, which is for pedestrians and for cyclists. And it's from our campground, and it'll bring us up to the park store in one direction, and then it brings us out to the beach in the other direction. 13 kilometers in length. And we'll check out a part of it because we're heading to the park store. So we just stopped by the park store to see if there is anything interesting that we might like to buy. We didn't buy anything, picked up a couple more campground maps. So we're heading down to Kettles Lake. This is where I guess people like to go to the beach because the water would be a lot tamer than it will be by going to Georgian Bay. Although Georgian Bay looked very marshy around the edges, so we're very interested in having a look at that too. So we just went down an extreme hill and it says cyclists use caution. We realized we got to go back up that hill some point. My gosh. This is the beauty of having bikes. Let's go here. I wonder if this road allows emergency access if there's a problem at the water. Okay, so we're at the sandy beach. I don't know how this could be Kettle Lake. I think this must be Georgian Bay. Got to pull out our map. Okay, so I think what we found is, I think this has got to be Georgian Bay as opposed to Kettle Lake. So we'll keep looking. This is not where we want to canoe. The water's too rough and there's motorboats and we're not happy with either of those. We're on the right road now and I'm just taking this downhill to the greatest advantage. And Shannon is not far behind. Okay, so we're at Kettles Lake Landing. This is absolutely the kind of place we'd like to paddle around. Right now it's a bit busy. The landing is where people bring down their kayak or their canoe. There's a platform to sit on, and then there's direct access to the water. I mean, you do have to scale some steps in order to get down to the water, but at least this water is nice and calm. So the solution here would be to come as early as possible in the day, and then you don't have as many animals disturbed by the presence of people. So maybe great footage can be possible down here. Good morning. Welcome to day 3, which is really morning 2, of hiking with Kathleen at Awenda Provincial Park. So just going out for a walk on the Bluffs Trail, and it's a really nice trail that is a place for you to hike and cycle through the woods. Now some of it crosses over campgrounds, but it helps you to sort of stay off the roads. We really like the site. The site gives ample room. You're sort of deep on your site, away from the road. So it's actually the first time in our trailer that we felt we could just go to sleep with all of the shades lifted on our trailer without feeling like people passing by on the road were really close and could sort of, see what was going on inside. So anyway, so that's been a nice thing. This gives you an idea of what it looks like. I showed you a little bit of that yesterday with our bike ride, where some of it was on the road and some of it was along this trail, as we were gaining some familiarity with the campground and the layout. So the purpose for today's video isn't really to give an overview of the park. It's to give you an overview really of the things that we like to do in a provincial park. And there's wildlife to focus on. We'd like to include excerpts about that too. So we're going to head into the nearby town, Penetanguishene, Ontario, in order to pick up some more supplies. I guess Midland is another town that's close by. We heard that Penetang, as it's shortened to, is a little closer. So that's where we're going to go and just pick up a few things that we're running low on. But otherwise, the one thing I've been enjoying, look at this. Fairly low mosquito population, which has been really great. I know there are pockets of them, and yes, we do have them from time to time out on our picnic table. We were playing cards out there and other games last night. So you can, get the odd mosquito as dusk settles in. This is really nice to not have to worry about that and be all bundled up all the time. And the temperatures here are in the mid-20s with, humidex, around 25, 27 degrees. Right now, it's about 8:30 in the morning, so it's not too warm. So yeah, anyway, enjoy the walk with me. Pretty often when we're out for a walk, we see young toads. So young American toads hopping out of our way. And they don't hop really very fast because they have, they're called poison glands, called carotid glands. They look like kidneys behind their neck. And they create a taste that makes them not very tasty. So when you see maybe a dog playing with them in the yard, they don't usually play for very long because toads taste bad. And so toads don't have the well-developed hind legs that frogs do, because frogs are tasty, and so they need to be really good at jumping out of harm's way. This provincial park really reminds me of Pinery Provincial Park. We spent some time there around the tail end of June. There were 2 parts where we showed kayaking, cycling, and hiking. So it's also very low in the mosquito population. So we tend to like that, especially after our experience at Grundy, where everything we did was in contemplation of having biting insects, namely mosquitoes. But anyway, yeah, so there's a lot about Awenda that is so far reminding us of pinery. Large open spaces, so tall forest canopy, but not very thick. You can also see some of the trees have been sort of stripped from caterpillars of some sort. I don't know, but I suspect there may have been some gypsy moth activity in here. And maybe it's past the season where the caterpillars have gone into the state. Pupation. I'm just looking at these trees right here, so you can see, I'll show you trees that are low to the ground where there aren't very many leaves left. Maybe that. Not sure if that helped to show with the backdrop of the map that there's a lot of leaves missing. Anyway, I haven't actually seen gypsy moth caterpillars, although I have seen what I believe are the egg masses left on the trunks of the trees. So anyway, I don't know if this is a forest that's been affected in the same way as pinery and many others. I'm looking at, this is an oak tree, and I'll show you, this is some of the inhabitants that we find living in this forest. So I'll see if I can find out some answers here, but we have the shell, the exoskeleton of some sort of insect that has pupated. Oh, I do see. Yeah, okay. All right, I'll show you. I saw a couple of remains of caterpillars that didn't make it, and yeah, those are the remains I just showed you was the gypsy moth caterpillar. They're very hairy and they're colored, like they've dots along the length of the body, and so these masses here look like they could be gypsy moth caterpillar eggs. So they are what have probably been invading this particular forest. And so these are the external shells of like the pupa. So the occupant is gone. It has matured, and I know that the adults are sort of the moths that result from the caterpillars are sort of a white or beige color, and I believe it's the female that's larger than the male, and I've seen a number of those moths around. They're probably about, you know, an inch from wingtip to wingtip, and anyway, so that's likely what we've had in here is gypsy moth caterpillars, and they're just past the caterpillar stage onto the next stage. So anyway, yeah, they've really made their way around southern Ontario. I didn't notice any signs of them up at Lake Superior Provincial Park, and I think it's just the temperature there is too low for their survival. especially the overwintering survival. Having just come from Lake Superior Provincial Park 3 days ago, one of the striking differences is back here in southern Ontario, there's a lot of animals, and included in that group is there are a lot of birds. So you can hear a lot of bird song. And in Lake Superior Provincial Park, we didn't hear a lot of birds. Yes, there were birds. We saw ravens, we saw gulls, bald eagle, loons, which was quite cool. But we have a lot of songbirds here. I did see like the magnolia warbler and a few other species while in Lake Superior area. But for here, you do get a lot more songbird action. So the forest seems more vibrant for that reason. We really enjoyed the scenery in Lake Superior because of the rock, you know, along the bodies of water. But this is where you really hear a lot of animals, so you know that we are in a very rich ecosystem when you're in southern Ontario. The weather is just more conducive to animal survival. So we made it to Kettles Lake, and it's a beautiful spot. Feels like a reward once you get here. Okay, can you hear that? It's the rumbling of a storm that's on its way. So I just touched base with Shannon. She's at the campsite. I didn't expect it to take me close to 2 hours to get this far by foot. So we're planning to head into town to pick up supplies. And so I'm going to be walking out of here and meeting her on a road. So that way we'll just head into town together before the rain, I hope. So we made it. We made it to the town of Penetanguishene. And what we thought we would do before we stop in and have lunch somewhere and get all our supplies that we're going to need is we thought we would have a look at the Penetanguishene Harbour. That's one of the Penetanguishene ring-billed gulls. That one's obviously a little camera shy. Probably not if I had French fries, though. Good morning. We're out here on the Marsh trail. So we are trying one of their woodland trails, and then we're going to make our way over to the water. We've had a chance to go to the visitor center and get a little bit acquainted and pick up a map. And so this is what we're going to spend some time doing this morning, and we hope we have some interesting sightings. We know that we have deer tracks that we are following along on this trail that they call the ID, I think it's the ID Forest Trail. And of course, I can hear the bugs buzzing in my ears already, so I'll probably be switching to my bug shirt pretty soon. And Shanna's got her shirt, so she's hoping that that's going to keep her well enough covered. So we went into the visitor center and I picked up a couple of pocket guides. I have lots of field guides, but not all of them are light enough to just take with me. Like I've one on mushrooms now, and one that's on butterflies and moths. And I find those things are very interesting. I like to video them, but I don't always have all of my guides with me when we're out here camping. So we'll bring you along on this. So that's a nice example of staghorn sumac. In the fall, those compound leaves turn to a brilliant red. They're very pretty. Often you see them in open areas where there's little water gathering along, say along the 401 in Ontario. So we just finished doing a bit of a hike along the Marsh boardwalk here at Marsh. Saw some bullfrogs, green frogs, and painted turtles, and had some nice footage of what we can hear in the background, and that is a couple of ospreys. There's an osprey platform that has been erected, and they're making these calls to one another, I guess. So that's kind of neat. So we're probably going to pack up soon and have some lunch, and then we're going to continue on over to see some friends that are not too far away from here before we return to the campsite. So thanks a lot for taking the time to join us on our outing to Awenda Provincial Park. So Shannon and I are calling it a wrap, and we are going to be heading back home. And we hope that you take the time to She's working in the background. Clearly she's working too hard. And we're going to be heading out to Awenda Provincial Park in a very short period of time. So we hope you come back and join us for that too. Thanks again. Bye. So we've been on the road for 3 weeks, and I think we're ready to go home. We weren't sure we would be, but we're ready to go home. And we'll be back at it a week later. Bye.